We are 28 days into the January transfer window. 28 days. And there is more Arsenal news, rumours, and transfer clues out there. David Ornstein has given an update with regards to Jhon Duran. Arsenal and Chelsea both interested. We're going to get into that, as well as the Standard coming out with reports on Nico Williams and Benjamin Sesko. Make sure you do go down and drop a like on the video if you haven't already. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. This Friday, the in-person poker event video will be dropping. What a day that was yesterday up in Nottingham. Myself, Hugh Wizzy, Chris, Sim, and of course Terry, all chatting while playing poker. So make sure you check that out. Now, we're 28 days into the transfer window, and I want to start with a number of reports coming from the Standard, once again about Arsenal. They seem to be the most talked about club this transfer window, and also Arsenal are aware of a agreement and are prepared to make a transfer bid for Benjamin Sesko. But the main story that, again, is Arsenal are prepared to trigger Nico Williams' release clause. Now, I think this is very unrealistic this window, but I do think he could be an Arsenal player in the summer. I think Nico Williams right now is everything Arsenal need. And I know people are going to say, right, he's had a bad start to the season. I get that. Well, it's not really a bad start. We're halfway through. Phil Foden's only started firing the last 5 or 6 games. Jude Bellingham had a slow start to the season. It seems like there's a common theme that a lot of players that played in that Euros have got a bit of a hangover period. I know some have performed, but a lot of players haven't. Now, Arsenal and Tottenham, this is to trigger Nico Williams' release clause. Arsenal and Tottenham are ready to trigger Nico Williams' €58 million release clause in a thrilling end to the January transfer window. Williams is one of Europe's most exciting young players and is set to target of a head-to-head between the North London rivals as they both look to bolster their attacks. The 22-year-old who plays for Athletic Club, or Athletic Bilbao as other people call them, has scored 3 goals and given 5 assists in 29 matches in all competition this season. And now Spanish publication Vijaz claim he could be heading to the Premier League. Now, I would love Nico Williams at Spurs. I think he's everything we need. He's a player that can beat a man. He's a player that steps up in the big occasion, scored in the Euro final against England. He's got a lot of raw ability, pace, great in the 1v1s, good creative player. You look at his record in the Copa del Rey, stepped up last season, won that as well for Bilbao. I think there's probably more chance he joins Arsenal. And the main reason behind that is we aren't going to pay €300,000 a week wages. I just think that's incredibly unrealistic right now. The club's a mess. Why would he leave Bilbao, who are flying in the Europa League and in a very good position in La Liga, to join Tottenham? Now, Arsenal right now are in a position where they're battling for a league title. Athletic Bilbao are 4th in La Liga, a very good chance of getting Champions League. Arsenal need someone on that left who can come in and score goals. But we are 28 days into the January transfer window. And I do want to stress that right now, whoever Arsenal sign, let's say hypothetically it's Nico Williams, the argument will be, why didn't they sign him at the beginning of the window? And Arsenal are now in a position where they've got massive games coming up. Manchester City this weekend. They've got Newcastle in the Cup next week. They've got a big game in the Champions League tomorrow night where they can essentially cement their place in the top 8. If they haven't already done that, whoever they bring in needs to be done ASAP. Time is running out very, very quickly. Now, David Ornstein has given a transfer update with regards to Jhon Duran. Now, Arsenal and Chelsea are both interested. Now, this is a player I can see leaving in the remaining 6 days. Many clubs want one elite number 9. Aston Villa have 2. Both Watkins and Duran expect to start, and Emery favours a lone striker. Growing sense something might happen if Aston Villa receive offers for Duran at £80 million before the deadline. The 21-year-old may yet go. I think Jhon Duran would be an exceptional signing for Arsenal. 21 years of age, got 7 Premier League goals, 3 goals in the Champions League, 2 goals in the League Cup, and this guy isn't the main number 9 at Aston Villa. Now, there's clearly some sort of attitude problem that Unai Emery doesn't like, and there's a lot of people right now that are suggesting Jhon Duran, not only David Ornstein, a lot of newspapers coming out and saying that he could be one that leaves, whether it's going to be in January or the summer. He's got 20 goals in 78 games, for Aston Villa, playing 2,272 minutes, which, if my maths is correct, that's probably 40 minutes a game. Let's actually quickly do the math. I think it's 40 minutes a game he averages. 2,272 divided by 90. Oh, less than that. 25 minutes a game. So to score 20 league goals of that amount of minutes is exceptional return. He's delivered in big games in the Champions League against Bayern Munich, scored a worldie, comes off the bench. He's everything Arsenal need. However, £80 million is very, very expensive. £80 million could get you an Osimhen, could get you a Victor Gyökeres. Now, if they don't bring in a player in, for me, I don't really know where Arsenal will finish. Is the plan right now to maybe have a bit more of a cautious approach and then go all out for an Isak, all out for an Osimhen in the summer? I don't know. But as it stands, Chelsea, who are very likely to spend big money on a player, they want Garnacho, but if Duran becomes available and you think West Ham have already had a £55 million bid on the table for him, I don't see, as it stands right now, how Aston Villa turned down £80 million. If they receive that, like David Ornstein says, he may go. Now, David Ornstein said a couple of days ago that Arsenal are working to sign Severe Nipan from Norway, but obviously this deal should be completely separate. He'd probably sign and then immediately go out on loan. He's got a number of clubs after him: Spurs, Manchester City, Juventus are all interested. If the inquiry from Arsenal that Fabrizio Romano has essentially said, it's very, very interesting right now to see what Arsenal are going to do in their remaining days. And if I'm going to say it, if they don't bring a striker in, it's as simple as that. They're not. I don't think they'll win the league. Eduardo Hagen, I think I may have butchered that, put out a tweet saying, just in from Fabrizio Romano, Arsenal made a call in the last few weeks to understand the situation of Jhon Duran. Now, if this is legit and Fabrizio Romano has suggested Arsenal have made contact, and David Ornstein is now reporting for £80 million he could leave Aston Villa, you put him up front with Saka when he returns on the right, and you maybe bring in Nico Williams. What a front line that is. And everyone just keeps writing Arsenal off saying, I am essentially contradicting what I'm saying, because I'm writing them off because I don't necessarily think they will win the Premier League title. I think Liverpool have got too much firepower as it stands, But if they went to sign Jhon Duran right now, a lot of Liverpool fans, I think it would completely change their opinion on Arsenal's chances of winning the league title. You think about it. Jhon Duran, in the remaining 15 games this season, could quite easily get 10 league goals. Those 10 league goals could be the difference between Arsenal winning and losing this Premier League title. If they sign Jhon Duran, right, and he goes to Arsenal and turns up at Anfield away, that could be the difference between them winning and losing the league title. Now, there's a lot of things out there at the moment with Evan Ferguson. People saying that the loan deal potentially could be back on. I don't think Evan Ferguson is good enough and has enough goals in him to be the difference between Arsenal winning and losing a league, if I'm being brutally honest. And as it stands right now, we're 28 days into the window. We're 28 days. If we're sitting here and they haven't signed anyone, it's criminal. Criminal. You know, we're looking at from Spurs' perspective, our transfer window has been just as bad as Arsenal, but we need so many more signings. And there's a common theme that, you know, Chelsea have only signed, a couple of youngsters. Man United are about to get a fullback through. City have done really well. Villa haven't really done a huge amount of business. West Ham haven't. Chelsea have put offers on the table. But there is a common theme that everyone's being a little bit cautious this window, other than Manchester City. Let me know your thoughts down below. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you have that subscribe button. And I will see you all soon. Thank you all for watching. I'm out.